The video begins with black screen. Heavy static noise plays in the background. Then, a distorted emergency broadcast suddenly appears. This is an emergency warning to anyone receiving this signal. Static crackles loudly. Do not go near the Pine Creek radio station after midnight. The screen glitches violently. Then the recording ends. Cut to silence. The camera fades into a lonely highway somewhere in rural Montana. Endless forests surround the empty road. Dark clouds move slowly across the sky. A black pickup truck drives toward a forgotten American town called Pine Creek. Inside the truck sits Ethan Cole, a small paranormal YouTuber known for exploring abandoned places across America. A camera records from the dashboard while Ethan speaks to his audience. So 3 days ago, someone emailed me an old emergency, broadcast recording from a town called Pine Creek. He holds up a small cassette tape. Nobody knows who sent it, but people online claim this town was abandoned after something happened inside an old radio station back in 1987. His friend Mason laughs from the passenger seat. Probably another fake ghost story. In the back seat sits Olivia, quietly researching information on her laptop. There's almost nothing online about Pine Creek, she says nervously. It's like the town was erased. Thunder rumbles across the distant mountains. The truck finally reaches Pine Creek just before sunset. The town looks completely abandoned. Old stores stand empty beside cracked roads. Rusty signs move slowly in the wind. No people. No cars. Nothing. Only silence. Ethan steps out holding his camera. This place feels dead. Suddenly, a radio inside the truck turns on by itself. Loud static fills the air. Everyone freezes. Then a distorted voice whispers through the speakers. Leave before midnight. The radio shuts off instantly. Nobody speaks for several seconds. Mason forces a nervous laugh. Okay, that was weird. The group decides to spend the night inside the abandoned radio station on the edge of town. As darkness falls, they drive deeper into the forest surrounding Pine Creek. Tall trees block most of the moonlight. The road becomes narrower. Eventually, the station appears. An enormous abandoned broadcast tower rises above the forest like a giant shadow. The old building beneath it looks partially burned. Broken windows stare into the darkness. A rusted sign near the entrance reads, Pine Creek Broadcast Station, EST 1962. The front door hangs slightly open. Wind slowly pushes it back and forth. Creak, creak. Olivia looks uneasy. We should not be here. Ethan smiles at the camera. This is exactly where we should be. The group enters the station using flashlights. Dust covers everything inside. Old microphones sit abandoned across broken desks. The control room walls are covered with strange writing scratched into the paint. Most of the equipment looks destroyed, but one thing still has power. An old radio console near the center of the room. Static quietly plays through its speakers. Mason walks closer. How does this thing still work? Suddenly, the static stops. Silence fills the room. Then a woman's voice comes through the speaker, crying, weak, terrified. Please help us. Everyone freezes. The voice continues. He's in the forest. Loud static explodes through the station speakers. The lights flicker violently. Then the voice screams, "Don't let him inside." Boom. Every light inside the station suddenly shuts off. Darkness swallows the room. Olivia screams. Somewhere outside, something massive moves between the trees. Branches crack loudly in the forest. Heavy footsteps slowly circle the building. Thud, Thud, Thud. Mason shines his flashlight toward the broken window and sees something standing between the trees. Tall, thin, completely motionless, watching them. Then suddenly, the radio turns back on by itself. A deep, distorted voice whispers through the speakers. He heard the signal. The broadcast tower outside begins making a loud metallic sound. Screech. The entire station shakes, and far out in the darkness of the forest, more figures slowly begin appearing between the trees. The video resumes in complete darkness. Heavy breathing fills the audio. Then, the flashlight suddenly flickers back on. Raffi is gone. Ethan quickly grabs the camera and points it around the radio station. "Mason? Olivia?" Nobody answers. Only static echoes through the building. The emergency lights inside the station begin flashing red. On, OEFF, on, OFF. Each flash reveals something different inside the room. Broken chairs, dusty walls, old bloodstains. Then, during one flash, a tall figure stands at the end of the hallway, motionless, watching. The light cuts out again. Ethan shines the flashlight toward the hallway. Nothing is there. Olivia grabs Ethan's arm tightly. "We need to leave now." Suddenly, the old radio console turns on by itself. Loud static explodes from the speakers. Then voices begin speaking through the noise. Not one voice, dozens. People crying, screaming, begging for help. The radio station fills with overlapping voices from different years. "Please open the door. He's outside. Don't let the signal continue." Then Ethan hears something horrifying. One of the voices is his own. "We should never have come here." Ethan slowly steps backward. "That's impossible." The radio suddenly changes frequency by itself. A man begins speaking calmly through the speaker. "This message is for Ethan Cole. Everyone freezes." The voice continues. "If you are hearing this, you are already infected." The lights instantly shut off again. Complete darkness. Then, a loud metallic sound echoes above them. Screech. The broadcast tower outside begins moving slowly in the storm. The entire building shakes violently. Mason rushes toward the control room window, and his face turns pale. "There's someone outside." Ethan points the flashlight through the broken glass. At the edge of the forest, dozens of pale figures stand silently between the trees, not moving, not blinking, only watching the station. Then all their heads slowly tilt at the same time. Toward Ethan, Olivia whispers, "Oh God." Suddenly, one of the radios inside the station turns on again. A child's voice comes through the speaker. Soft, distorted. "He can see you now." Then every radio inside the building activates at once. Loud, static screams through the station. The walls begin vibrating. Blood slowly drips from Ethan's nose. Olivia collapses onto the floor, holding her ears. The sound becomes unbearable. Then, silence. Everything suddenly stops. No static, no voices, nothing. The station becomes completely quiet. Too quiet. Mason slowly looks toward the hallway. The figure? It's gone. Then a new sound appears. Footsteps. Slow footsteps. Coming from upstairs. T-H-U-D. 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 The group exchanges terrified looks. The second floor of the station was empty. They checked earlier, but now someone is walking above them. Ethan raises the flashlight toward the staircase. The footsteps stop instantly. Silence. Then, a deep voice whispers directly above them, "Come upstairs." The staircase light suddenly turns on by itself. At the top of the stairs, a dark silhouette slowly appears. The staircase creaks loudly beneath Ethan's feet as the group slowly climbs toward the second floor of the radio station. Every light inside the building flickers violently. The shadow standing at the top of the stairs disappears into the darkness. Mason whispers nervously, "I really think we should leave." Nobody answers. The deeper they move upstairs, the colder the air becomes. Their breath becomes visible. The second floor hallway is long and narrow. Old office doors stand partially open on both sides. Most rooms are empty, but strange scratching sounds echo from somewhere nearby. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Olivia slowly shines her flashlight toward one of the doors. Words are carved deeply into the wall beside it. "Do not answer the signal." Ethan carefully pushes the door open. Inside the room sits old recording equipment covered in dust. Hundreds of cassette tapes are stacked across shelves. One tape recorder near the center suddenly clicks on by itself. Static fills the room. Then, a voice begins speaking. "This is Pine Creek Emergency Recording number 47. The voice sounds terrified. If anyone finds this station, burn it immediately." Loud screaming echoes in the background of the tape. Then gunshots. The recording continues. It came from beneath the tower. The tape suddenly cuts off. Silence fills the room. Then the scratching sound returns. Closer this time. Mason slowly points his flashlight toward the ceiling. Something is moving above them. Heavy crawling sounds spread across the roof. Thump, thump, thump. Dust falls from above. Olivia steps backward in fear. What the hell was that thing? Suddenly, all the lights upstairs shut off at once. Darkness covers the hallway. Then the emergency broadcast speakers activate across the station. A distorted voice echoes everywhere. "Warning, signal breach detected. Lockdown initiated." Massive metal doors suddenly slam shut downstairs. Boom. The station seals itself completely. Mason panics immediately. "We're trapped." Suddenly, a loud scream comes from downstairs. The group freezes. It sounds human. Then another scream follows, followed by wet, tearing sounds. Ethan grabs the camera tightly. What was that? No one answers. Then they hear footsteps running upstairs toward them. Fast, violent. Something crashes into the hallway wall below. The entire station shakes. Ethan shines the flashlight down the staircase and sees it. For one horrifying second, a tall creature climbing unnaturally fast toward them. Its body is thin and twisted. Its skin looks burned. Its arms are far too long, and its glowing white eyes reflect directly into the camera. Olivia screams. The creature suddenly disappears back into the darkness below. Then silence returns. Only static hums through the speakers. Mason begins breathing heavily. That thing isn't human. Suddenly, one office door slowly opens by itself at the end of the hallway. Inside the room, a faint red light glows underground. Ethan carefully walks closer. Beneath the office floor is a hidden hatch. Partially open, cold air rises from below, and with it, the smell of death. Olivia looks terrified. What is that place? Ethan shines the flashlight downward. A long underground tunnel disappears beneath the station. Old military symbols are painted on the walls below. Mason slowly realizes something. This wasn't just a radio station. Ethan nods silently. It was hiding something. Then, the emergency speakers activate again. But this time, the voice sounds different, deeper, inhuman. You should not have come here. The tunnel lights suddenly turn on by themselves, one after another, deep underground. C-L-I-C-K, 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 revealing a massive bunker hidden beneath Pine Creek. And somewhere far below, something enormous roars in the darkness. The underground bunker shakes as the creature roars somewhere deep below. Dust falls from the ceiling. Red emergency lights flash endlessly through the tunnel. Ethan grips the camera tightly while Olivia stares into the darkness beneath the hatch. What is that thing? No one answers. Then, the emergency speakers crackle back to life. Containment failure confirmed. Signal entity active. Mason looks confused. Signal entity. Suddenly, the metal hatch behind them slams shut on its own. Boom! The group jumps back in fear. At the same moment, every tunnel light underground turns on at once. A long underground military corridor stretches endlessly beneath Pine Creek. Old warning signs cover the walls. Authorized personnel only. Biohazard level 4. Do not transmit signal after midnight. Olivia slowly shakes her head. This place was never a radio station. It was a laboratory. The group carefully moves deeper into the bunker. Broken computers flicker with static. Military papers cover the floor. Inside one control room, Ethan discovers old VHS tapes labeled Subject Tests 1987. He inserts one tape into an old monitor. Static fills the screen. Then grainy footage appears. Scientists stand inside the exact bunker decades earlier. A terrified researcher speaks into the camera. We discovered the signal beneath Pine Creek during a deep earth drilling operation. The footage glitches violently. The scientist continues. At first, it sounded like random radio noise, but then the signal started responding. The room becomes silent. Then another scientist appears screaming in the background. Turn off the transmitter. Suddenly, something massive crashes through the lab behind them. The footage cuts into static. Mason slowly steps backward. Oh my God. Then the bunker speakers activate again. This time the voice sounds almost human. You listened. You heard the signal. Now it knows you. Suddenly, the lights go out. Complete darkness fills the bunker. Then heavy footsteps echo somewhere ahead. Thud, Thud, Thud. The creature is moving through the tunnel. Closer, closer. Olivia begins crying silently. Ethan shines the flashlight forward. At the far end of the corridor, the creature slowly emerges from the darkness. Its body is massive now, tall enough to touch the bunker ceiling. Its burned skin moves unnaturally. Black veins pulse beneath its flesh, and dozens of distorted human voices whisper from inside its body. The creature's glowing white eyes lock onto Ethan. Then it smiles. A horrifying mixture of human screams suddenly erupts from its mouth. The bunker walls begin shaking violently. Warning sirens activate everywhere. Reactor failure detected. Facility collapse imminent. Mason screams, "Run!" The group sprints through the collapsing bunker, while alarms echo endlessly around them. Behind them, the creature crawls rapidly across the walls and ceiling like a giant spider. Its distorted limbs crack loudly with every movement. Ethan desperately follows old emergency exit signs through the underground tunnels. But suddenly, Olivia stops running. Her face turns pale. Blood slowly drips from her nose. Then she whispers softly, "I can hear the signal." Ethan grabs her arm. "We have to move." But Olivia slowly turns toward the darkness. Something inside the bunker is calling her. The creature's voices whisper softly through the shadows. "Stay with us?" Suddenly, Olivia screams violently as black veins spread across her skin. Her eyes turn completely white. Mason backs away in terror. She's infected. The bunker ceiling begins collapsing around them. Large chunks of concrete crash onto the floor. Ethan notices one final control room ahead. Inside stands the original signal transmitter, still active, still broadcasting. The giant machine sends distorted radio waves deep into the darkness underground, and beneath the signal frequency, something else whispers back. Ethan realizes the truth. The creature was never trapped inside the bunker. The signal itself created it, and every person who hears the broadcast becomes connected to it. The station was never sending messages to humans. It was feeding the thing beneath Pine Creek. The creature suddenly appears behind them at the end of the hallway, screaming, smiling, waiting. Ethan grabs a flare from the emergency wall box. Without hesitating, he throws it directly into the signal transmitter. Boom. The machine explodes violently. The entire bunker begins collapsing instantly. The creature lets out an inhuman scream that shakes the tunnels. Walls crack apart. Fire spreads across the underground facility. Ethan drags Olivia and Mason toward the emergency exit ladder while the bunker collapses behind them. The creature chases them through the flames. Closer, closer. Just as Ethan reaches the surface hatch, the entire underground bunker explodes beneath Pine Creek. A massive shockwave tears through the forest. The old radio tower collapses in the distance. Silence finally returns. Morning sunlight slowly rises across the forest. Smoke rises from the ruins of Pine Creek. Everything is over, or so they think. Ethan checks the damaged camera one final time. Static flickers across the screen. Then, a distorted voice whispers softly through the speaker. The signal never ends. The camera suddenly cuts to black.